Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Delta Sparks Pod. That is Dewey, aka Andy from Electrical, aka and Dewey Pop Sausage Cakes Supreme.
Oh, no! You gotta stop! Sausage cakes?
Sausage Cakes.
Gross.
It's your new nickname. Get that put on your hard hat.
Stop. Get that across the seat of my sweatpants.
Boom. Sausage Cakes. It's like how juicy used to be on girls like sweatpants.
That's what I mean.
Cakes.
Oh no.
This is my butt cheeks. I'm Evan, just in case anyone's wondering. Dewey, we have quite the fun guest tonight. Well, it's our tonight. It's actually his today, which is our tomorrow.
Are we time
his morning? I think so.
I think we might be.
Like I know the last episode I said I don't do drugs anymore, but this definitely feels like I'm doing drugs. So our guest today hails from the great country of Australia.
Where specifically? I think you did good.
I don't actually know how to pronounce it.
That's exactly why I wanted you to say it.
I want to say
I don't know how to pronounce it.
I want to say Brisbane.
Yeah, Brisbane.
But I feel like it could be Brisbane.
No, I don't think
Bane
it's Bane.
From like
Batman.
I am Brisbane, Australia.
Hey, keep going.
Okay. Should I do the whole opening like that? I'll probably end up fucking passing out.
Stop recording. Somebody stop recording.
Our guest for this episode is a 32-year-old electrician, family man, tool and lawn fanatic. He loves his grass.
Oh.
You would just kind of describe this person as an overall lover of all things the trades. Like I said, hails from Australia. You can fun fact, and I think this is a fun fact for me too. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Okay, that's why I wore this shirt. My shirt says Jill of all trades.
Do you know what I used to call it when like you say jack off?
Oh God.
I used to say Jillin' off.
You're a special boy.
Scratching records. You can find our guest on social media, Instagram and YouTube, on the name Addicted to Tools. Please welcome to Delta Sparks Pod from Australia, Matt.
Hey. Yay!
There he
is. Hi, Matt.
That's not your poop face.
You don't know that.
If he shits with a shit-eating grin like that, like, boy, do I gotta start taking what he's taking.
On my good days.
There's a lot of fiber. Matt, thank you for taking the time today our today, whoever's tomorrow, for coming on Delta Sparks Pod. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, thank you.
God bless you.
Before we get rolling, I actually have to do a special thank you to Matt. When I started my ES Sparks account in June, July of last year, I was following your account, Matt, from my personal page, and you and a few other pages, and that's kind of how I got introduced to the idea of creating an Instagram account solely for like tools and trade stuff. And you were the first person when I started the ES Sparks page that I reached out to and said, so what do I do? Like, how do I do this?
So this is your fault, Matt.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this.
And I'll be 100% honest, you see an account with, 20,000+ followers and you're like, no fucking way this guy's going to respond to me. I'm pretty sure you messaged me back like within an hour or two.
Oh.
And that was my first experience with the Instagram trade community. And so thank you for getting the ball rolling, kicking the ball to make it roll. Thank you for kicking me in the emotional testicles. And starting this journey of mine and of Dewey's, and now with you.
Oh.
So,
yeah, no, it's a pleasure. actually remember when you contacted me, and yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I pretty much contact anyone that messages me. So yeah, it's good to see that how far you've come now, and especially doing this.
Oh,
it's good.
You're gonna make me blush. But no, the sincerity of people, the realness of people that I think me and Andy, and we've talked about this time and time again, that we found, at least for me, and I don't know about for Andy, unexpectedly, the community over competition, the one for all and not all for one mentality, was for myself very much surprising, and I guess I didn't realize how much I needed a community outside of like my immediate family and my friends who don't get really what it is I do on a day-to-day basis for work, and what it's like to be on a job site, and what it's like to deal with personalities on a job site. But more importantly, when COVID hit for everyone, I feel like we were all in a state of like, oh fuck, what do we do now? Like, there was a lot of disruption to our day-to-day lives, our daily kind of, comings and goings. And, the community really just, I don't know if it took off during the pandemic, like it kind of just grew leaps and bounds. I assume it did, because, I mean, hello, I'm here. But what I've seen in that time, my short time on Instagram, is how, and we were kind of talking about this before the episode, is how there is no person in charge. There is no select group of people that kind of dictates what is okay or what is acceptable, or more importantly, what's not acceptable for our
no overlords.
We have no overlords, except for Dewey Pop Pop. She is an overlord.
I reign with an iron fist.
Yes. But there's been controversies, and there'll always be controversies with different groups and different people and different stuff. But I guess the first thing I really wanted to talk about was, you did a video recently. I saw it on Instagram. It was an IGTV video where you sat down and you were just honest with the people who support your page, your followers, the people who go to your Instagram and your YouTube page, and you were like, listen, I get tools from companies. They send it to me. I don't pay for everything all the tools I have that I show on my social media. And you went on to say, like, I do honest reviews for these. I don't, I'm not swayed, this, that, and the other thing. And I feel like right now, and over the last few months, there's been a real, touchy subject for people. The word ambassador has become a very, very kind of like
influencer too, for me.
Yeah. Influencer, ambassador.
That definite negative connotation is almost assigned to it now.
I almost feel like it's screaming. I feel like saying those words on Instagram right now is kind of like screaming the C word in church. It's
Christ. Oh, that's
Christ.
C word. Oh, sorry.
No, the other C word.
The other one.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, where did that come from for you? Where, like, we've all kind of, I think, thought about stuff like that and felt like stuff like that. Like, but what was there something that happened, or was it just kind of finally all came to a head that you were like, I need to say something?
Yeah, it was pretty much a build-up, as you said, over the last year and a half. Obviously, I built up my page. At the beginning, you're spending a lot of money on tools, or just reviewing a lot of the tools that you already have. It obviously gets worse and worse as you go. You start buying more tools. But then you get a lot of these other companies contacting you. They want to send you certain stuff. And there are a lot of people have sort of seen that that's what they're here for, which is like, if that's what they're here for, that's what they're here for. For me, I wanted to basically just help the community, give my own thoughts, honest reviews, all that sort of stuff. So that's what I did. And what I found was I probably wasn't clear enough. And we were talking about it earlier, that it's hard line to find with giving a review and also saying that I did get these for free. But that's why I did the post. Like most of the companies are actually really good. There's only a few smaller ones. A lot of them are actually sort of just Amazon drop shippers. They're trying to just get their stuff out, which I've just pretty much said no, or I'll tell them I'll do an honest review. But if it's a crap product, I'm literally going to say it's a crap product. So then they normally leave me alone after that.
Matt, I have a question for you on that line there. If there's something that's sent to you that you do find isn't a great product, do you kind of give the company your honest feedback before posting your review?
Yes, that's actually what I have done, especially if it's for...
Why are you laughing at me, Evan?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing that... I was laughing because I had something very similar happen, and
I'm personally just starting to think about maybe doing tool reviews, because I worked in general construction for the first couple of years of my apprenticeship, and now I've moved into automation. So I'm using a whole different gauntlet of tools, and finding a lot of the tools that I used to use, I don't use as much anymore. And so now I'm trying to branch out and use all these like new tools and stuff. And I'm kind of just wondering how you went about that. Like if that was something that you talked to the companies before, before putting them on blast, basically.
This awesome product that was sent to me for free is a total piece of shit.
And it's definitely something you got to sort of think about, because it is hard. You don't want to disappoint a company. Like it's definitely in the back of your brain. And that's why you got to, one of the things when I started was I made a list of goals and expectations from myself and where I want to go. And so if I just want new tools from these companies and I want them to be happy with my reviews, then that's what you would do, whether it's good or bad. But at the end of the day, I don't care if I get the tools for free. I'm after the actual content to go out there, which is honesty. And so like the best example was from Klein. They sent me the Klein tools bag, the backpack, and like there was actually a manufacturer's fault in it. I actually couldn't open up one of the pockets. There's no zipper on it.
I have a suit like that.
Them. It sounds like every pair of women's pants ever.
Yeah,
just this pocket. It's just for show. I'm the suit I own.
Well, so I contacted them straight away, let them know. No response. Like you could see that they saw it. Whether they're too busy, I don't know. But then I did the review. Once it went to YouTube, and so this is sort of where one of my other thoughts is sort of coming in. I put it onto YouTube, and then that's when they actually contacted me, because I put them on blast. I compared it to the Vito, which is a pretty hard comparison when you're comparing it to the Vito.
Oh, big time.
And then so they did actually apologize. They sent me the newer bag, which is actually a lot better. So I'm trialing that out. But so it sort of came good, and they did apologize. But one of the main things for me with that is if I didn't have the influence I had, I might not have ever got an apology or a new bag.
Right.
So that's where I don't know where I stand with that. I've had a lot of other guys that have contacted me with similar problems, whether it's a drill, bags, anything, and they don't get any response from these companies. So that's sort of why I try to help as much as I can. They'll contact me, then I'll put it onto Instagram, and just to notify these companies. But I feel bad for the people that don't have the influence. They sort of get swept under the rug.
Right. Especially if they're paying money for those, right?
Exactly. I got those for free. I won the first one in a giveaway from Klein.
Woo!
So that's how I got that one. But if these guys are spending $150+ on a bag, and it has a manufacturer's fault, and they don't contact them, that's fairly bad. So
I tell everyone, because someone had posted recently about the Klein 15-in-1 multi-bit ratcheting screwdriver. They're like, I've had this thing for a week and all the ridges rubbed off, and I was like, holy shit, what is wrong with your hands?
Sandpaper hands.
But anything that's mass produced on any level is always going to have the few here or there that miss the quality check, that just kind of slip through. And you know, I think our first episode we did with Michelle, our first guest episode we did with Michelle from the Driver Back, you know, we talked a lot about like working with companies or supporting companies, buying from companies that not just hold up their end of the bargain as a provider and as a company, you know, getting you returns, you know, timely, fixing issues, you know, customer support, but also taking feedback from the people who are actually buying their stuff and using their stuff day in and day out.
Exactly.
You know, and anytime I think you get to a bigger company like Klein or Milwaukee or whomever, you know, who knows how many people are running that Klein Instagram page, you know?
Right.
I know for the US, they have a few different people who oversee it, and it can be very difficult sometimes. Like I will send a message and I'll have a full conversation for like 20, 30 minutes back and forth with somebody. And then I'll just send a random message asking a question about something, and I'll be on red until the next time I message them. And I honestly, I choose not to believe that they're just like, fuck this guy. I choose to believe that they're human and that they forget. And that, you know, I think that's, again, getting back to the whole Instagram community. It's nice to have people who, like yourself, who have bigger followers and a little bit more pull, if you will. So if somebody has an issue and they're not getting a response, they can come to you, you'll respond to them and be like, yo, to the company, what the fuck? Can we get this resolved? Like, I'm not trying to badmouth anyone. I'm just trying to help somebody out who is spending money on your products. But I did have one of those drop shippers once send me something. And I responded to them and I gave them a full breakdown of my review. And I was like, I have this ready to go as a post. Do you want me to post it? And they were like, if you could not, that would be great. And I was like, okay. But no, I think it took a lot of guts and a lot of courage to post that video, you know, saying like, it is what it is. Like, I have been approached, Andy's been approached. Obviously, you have been approached by companies that said, we'd like to work together. We'd like to support you. And it's been, you know, a heaviness of, do I say I'm an ambassador for a company? You know, I don't think anyone who knows me or knows my page doesn't know who, you know, what companies I work with and I support. But it's still like scary to say because I feel like sometimes there's a witch hunt.
Yeah, it's got that negative, like I said, the negative linking to it, just branding yourself with that word, right?
Well, I don't even know if a lot of these sort of terms like ambassador or influencer, no one really knows what they actually fully mean. Like I'm still not sure what I am for any of these companies. Like I have no contract. I have one contract, which is for Workwear Hub, but that's basically it. And it's just honest reviews. Like that's basically all it is that I just do for them. But with all these other companies, they're literally just randomly sort of contacting me like, would you like to try our new drill or light? Just give us the feedback. That's pretty much all it is. And you're probably the same. The companies that you are working for are companies that you already support. Like the reason I'm doing stuff for Milwaukee or Unilight or Vito is because I back those companies. Yeah, they're not companies. They're not paying us. Yeah, it's sort of.
Let's be honest. I'm not getting anything from DeWalt and talking any good about them.
Yeah,
same.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
In case you couldn't tell by the coffee cup.
And my pen.
So speaking of the Workwear Hub, are those awesome Australian boy booty shorts I see you wearing to work every day?
Booty shorts.
Yeah. So you guys have a totally different dress code in Australia for workwear. You guys
and
get to wear shorts.
Thank you for it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing I like seeing more. Uh-oh. Oh.
We are.
Workwear Speedos.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wish.
Who needs legs?
We're supposed to wear, well, with my company anyway, we haven't been able to wear short sleeves or shorts for maybe 5-6 years now.
Oh wow!
Really?
Full-time long sleeves, long pants.
Full-time long sleeves.
Yep.
You live in a quite warm country, no?
Yeah. We've worked in like 42-degree Celsius degree weather.
Okay, hold on.
That you just read my mind.
Yeah,
that's real hot, Ev. That's
42
real hot.
Celsius not in inches, in Fahrenheit.
yeah.
Oh wow! Holy shit! That's 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't catch me outside, let alone working in that heat. I do very well with the cold. I think I'm actually like Canadian by like by my soul and by my core temperature. My wife is definitely Australian if we're going off of core temperature.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that. I'm assuming the long sleeves all the time is for safety and probably liability.
Exactly.
Their insurance that they cover or carry. But do you at least get to wear the fun, colorful clothing, or does it have to be like a black long sleeve shirt and black long pants in the middle of like the sun?
No.
While you're working on the sun.
It's basically just the work uniform. It's normally just fluoro shirt, and the pants doesn't really matter what color.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not sure where my cut. Like we actually talked about it the other day with the knives. How we're not allowed knives in the bandsaws.
Oh right, right. Yep.
We're fairly strict with the company. It's a very large company, so I don't actually know. I've wanted to hit them up with the trademark shirts and clothes. I'm not sure where
they make long sleeves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just have to make sure if you're ordering from not Australia, you understand sizing, because I ordered a large. I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
I don't know how tall that is in centimeters or millimeters or kilometers. I don't know.
Feet. Yeah.
Okay. I'm 6'4". And the large is just past being what would be considered a belly shirt. I only can wear it with overalls because at least I have something covering up to the nipples. So if I reach up, like it's not like, hey,
woo,
there's my belly button.
I had the same issue with well, I was looking on some sites and I had such a terrible time trying to figure out the sizing. Because short of measuring myself, I'm like, and then carry the 3 and why am I a quadruple XL? I was like, that can't be right.
Then you gotta call your husband or wife. You're like, hey babe, come here.
Yeah.
Grab the ruler.
Yeah.
No, not that ruler. Yeah.
No, not that ruler. Not the Friday night ruler. The Monday morning tape measure. I guess my question is it's not big in the US like these types of shirts with a collar and with buttons. Like I see a lot in Australia. I see a lot in the UK and in Europe. Like more of a formal-ish, like a button down or at least a 3-button with it. In where I live, you wear a neon T-shirt and it's like, hey, you're
here,
good.
For us, we can wear whatever we want, and then we have vests over top a lot of the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, we have vests too.
I've never actually thought about it. Yeah, because I wear the HighVis shirt, but it is collared with buttons, and that's what we've always worn. I've actually never thought of that. Yeah,
I've noticed that on a couple of accounts that I follow. That I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like I could pull that off, and I'm like, I didn't even think I could wear that because we have set we have standards of what you have to wear that's considered proper high vis, and different companies have different grades of it. So there's a black one with high vis that a company that I worked for before wouldn't allow us to wear that. We had to have the yellow or the orange.
Yeah, basically, if somebody was 1,000 meters away with a sniper rifle, they have to be able to see you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Or
so they can shoot me. Well, I wear this to work every once in a while, and people are like, "Why do you have buttons on your shirt?" They also look at me like, "Why are you wearing that?"
Yeah. But that's what it's for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And their whole idea and philosophy behind starting conversations about mental health and just about, hey, it's okay to not be okay. it wasn't until recently, until this week actually, where on a job site someone said something to me like they were totally out of line and got very loud with me in front of a bunch of other fellow coworkers. And I pulled them aside and I said, listen, I don't care how you feel about me, but when you say what you say and when you scream in front of other people, you make me feel like I'm a piece of shit, like I'm worthless. How are you going to argue with when someone tells you how they feel? You can't.
Yeah.
That's how you win an argument right there. You're welcome, Delta Spod. It's
Matt,
it might be 10 a.m. there, but it's not here.
Matt,
Yeah,
how do you find the mental health situation is on job sites that you work on?
Yeah.
Like, do you find that it is something that's kind of brushed under the rug? Like, I know it is a lot in North America.
Yeah, 100% it is. Yeah, and we've definitely been talking a lot more about it. A lot of the companies now are coming to the forefront, and they have the facilities. Like we have a free helpline with our company for anyone that wants to talk, even for the family, that sort of stuff, which is really good. But that's only come in the last few years. But there's still not many people talking about it. I definitely bring it up now and then with certain people, whether it's just like we have mates in construction. I don't know if you've heard that over here. It's the same sort of thing. Just ask if you're okay. So I'm pretty sure in construction, I don't know if it's worldwide or just Australia, it's one of the highest rates of suicide. That sort of is definitely what brought myself to the attention. But yeah, it's definitely still pushed under the rug, especially with a lot of the bigger construction sites. You get sort of blokey blokes that you don't talk about it, all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely getting better, and I think it's definitely steamrolling with a lot of these other companies that are bringing it to the forefront. Yeah, it's been quite good actually.
Good.
Yeah, I think as it continues and as people continue to bring it up and continue to just make it okay and less of a taboo to talk about, hopefully we start to see those numbers in suicides or self-harm or addiction, start to drop, or at least people seeking help, not there's no like, just because we can talk about it, you'll be okay. It's like, no, but because you feel like you can talk about it, you can get help, and then you can start working to be okay. So something you had brought up recently, you were talking about, I think the term you used was labor hire.
Yep. That's what we call it over here. Yep.
Andy, have you ever heard of labor hire before?
Absolutely not. Could you tell me about it, Matt?
Well, would you understand the term temp worker?
Yes, that I understand.
I think that's the same thing.
All right, hit me, Matt.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a few different terms because I've done a couple of posts and people weren't sort of sure, so that's why I put it out there. It's basically just other companies that have the workers, and then so like a large electrical company needs an influx of people for a job, so they will hire those, and then they can just send them back, get rid of them whenever, rather than hiring them straight and having to make them redundant after every job. Like that's the overall idea.
Great in theory.
Sort of, exactly. Like in that idea, it definitely sounds great and it does work. But for myself, I've seen I started just as it was coming in. So I've been in the industry 14 years. I was lucky enough to go straight with a company. And I avoided all the labor hire, but a lot of other people haven't. And I've watched the industry change over 14 years, where now most companies are actually getting rid of their full-time workers and going straight full labor hire.
Really? Do you know what you call that in North America?
Shady business.
You call that union. That's what the union is in North America. Union contractors, at least in the US, I'll speak specifically, or at least in my area, you have companies that are union electrical contracting companies. They may carry a small crew of guys, shop guys, their foremen, or some few skeleton crew guys, but they'll get a big job. They'll call the hall. They'll say, hey, we have a huge job. We need X amount of people. They know the rates because, the rates are what they are. And they get all this influx of skilled labor. Now, the difference in the US, at least, I don't know about Canada or about Australia when it comes to labor hire or temp labor, is the union trains their people in-house. So they have schools that you go to. There's an apprenticeship program. Whereas temp workers or labor hires in the U.S., at least in my area, it's an office building that they got a bunch of salespeople. They'll carry an electrical license because they have to hire people to work under their license. So if we have a couple of labor hires, temp workers on our job right now. Some of them are great. Some of them are skilled guys who
100%.
Worked for companies. I worked for a temp agency at one point, and got bought out and said never again. But I find the majority of the time it's people who don't actually have the experience that they're touting, and don't actually put that 110% effort in because they have nothing to like gain and nothing to lose. They're there. Yep. They're going to make their rate.
So in Canada, specifically this last company that I worked for, there was a company that provides these temp workers. And we, like you said, Evan, we had some really great people and we had some really, really shitty people. We actually, we had a guy that we caught pissing off a balcony. And the only reason we caught him was because it dribbled down onto somebody who was working right below him and nearly had a fist fight, and he was fired on the spot, obviously. But it's like one of those things that these guys would like put in like 90% because they would hope that the foreman would put in a good word and maybe they'd get hired permanently afterwards.
Right.
Because it's like these guys will come on to, sorry, I say guys, but these people will come onto site, these workers.
Come on, Andy, use the correct terminology, okay? Not every tradesperson is a male.
What?
Yes.
So these electricians... And
you're just jealous because you couldn't pee off a balcony. Well, I mean, you could, but not with the same ease, not with the same ease.
Oh, no, I would pee all over myself. But these guys, they come onto site and typically they are given the same shitty, monotonous jobs over and over, site after site, because that's kind of all you trust them with. And like I said, some are better than others. Some were able to work their way up. And typically my company could name hire from this temp agency. So we could get some of the same guys that we really liked and who actually had a clue what was going on and had built like rapport with our workers. But for the most part, we were always, ooh. And when layoffs came around with COVID, they were the first ones to go. And I know a guy who works for the company who's still off, hasn't been back to work yet since March. Oh, wow. Like that's a year he's been off.
I mean, in my area since COVID hit, construction has just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
We're the same, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we have
Canada,
construction
I guess they don't
going.
want to build any more robots.
My company's fine, thank you. But like that's why I was off back in September. We had slowed production down with our companies. Anything new build, they deemed as it was not essential if they hadn't broken ground already. So we were okay for the first couple months, and then they got to the point where they were supposed to be breaking ground on these new projects that they had lined up, and the government was like, like not happening, and we had to lay off half of our company for a month. And then they were called back, but I went to school and went off and got a new job.
Education.
An education. But sorry,
started a podcast.
Also what you were talking about with the union, how there's different like classes and stuff. So in Ontario, anybody who has an apprenticeship has to go under the same branch of schooling. Like it's all put on by the government basically, and our provincial government. And so everybody takes the same classes and learns the same content, and then the union supplements. No, that's not. Thank you. Supplements their workers with these extra classes that they have to take a certain number of classes per term.
Is that how it is in Australia? Like, In the U.S., it's not set up that way. Like every state is different. Like some states mandate people to be registered in school and register with the state. In my state, it's kind of a free for all.
Your state's the Wild West.
Yeah, I've heard that you say that before. So in Australia, like to be a licensed electrician, it's basically the same state to state to state. Just a little bit different. Like I've just renewed my license. I've got to do that every 5 years. I've got to pay a certain amount for it and do an exam.
Of course.
But I've actually been contacted by a lot of other guys that are really confused. Just almost every other state, they don't have to do an exam. They just have to pay, which is sort of a little bit strange to me. I would think you'd need to do an exam just to even just keep updated on anything that's in. Yep.
Do they require you to do like continual education credits or CEUs, like continual education units, learn about new things or kind of stay up to date on stuff?
You don't have to, but I do because, what they do incentivize it. So a lot of the time you'll either get paid to do those courses. And obviously you want to be most up to date with all the new courses because everyone else is doing it, and to get a new job, it definitely helps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Matt, I have a question for you that is not anything to do with this kind of stuff. Yeah. I want to know what your favorite tool is.
My favorite tool, it's fairly hard, but I actually like a lot of the littler stuff. Actually, I've got it right here.
Yay! You brought props, Ev.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually in a shed, so. But you guys probably would have seen those, just the little bit holders. Like, pretty basic stuff. But I love my little tricky sort of tools, really.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen them, they're just you pull that. Oh, if I can do it, there you go. Just for all your bits and pieces, nice and easy, nice and cheap. But like that goes with me everywhere. I've got a whole pile on each bag. But yeah, it depends on what I'm doing, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a tool Andy,
what's your favorite tool?
Yeah.
I'd have to say, well, I feel naked if I don't have my knife on me, just like my pocket knife, because my jobs can range from like doing like 24 gauge, really, really tiny wire up to running like 10s or 8s or whatever, like, or running pipe. So like, it's so different with what I might be doing day to day that I think my knife is probably my one that that's something that if I didn't have it on me halfway to work, I would turn around and go get it at home.
Really?
Yeah. What about you, Ev?
It would be really easy just to point.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But it's actually, it's actually not a multi-screwdriver. My favorite tool of all time are my linemen. I can do just about anything with a pair of linemen. Even as a screwdriver at times, if I can get a hold of the screw, bolt, nut. I was stripping number 8 wires today, or 8 gauge wires, and then I was stripping 22 gauge wires doing low voltage terminations today as well, all with the same tool. I was taught. I started residential, so I was taught to wire homes using nothing but a pair of linemen. Staple, strip, splice, hammer, you name it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that for me, if I didn't have those with me, I might as well take my pants off because I should be naked.
That's actually interesting. You say that you use the pliers for basically everything, because that's been something that's been interesting from Australia, because that's pretty much how we all do it over here. But then I see in the US and the UK, a lot of you guys have, I'm not even sure what they're called. Like they got the actual strippers on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wire strippers.
So,
Yeah.
We pretty much know.
You have to make sure you say wire strippers instead. You can't.
Yeah, you don't.
If you say strippers, I don't use them. I pay them. It's a service. So listen. Let's jump into Andy's favorite segment, Just the Tip. For those of you who have not heard of Just the Tip before, our guest tonight, Matt, or today, is going to give a tip. It could be about life. It could be about tools. It could be about lawn care, because he's an avid grass man. And it's just something from his experience that he's going to share with us, and we will hopefully put in our ear holes and leave there for quite some time. I got the seguis on point.
Yeah, you sure do.
The main thing I could think of is just when it comes to anything, whether it's work, family, home, Instagram, anything that you're doing, is just being passionate about it and being humble. And what I mean by being humble is willing to say that you're wrong, ask questions, just always learning. That's basically what I've tried to do for almost anything I can do. There's a lot of guys out there that, I guess, arrogant. You could probably say sort of arrogant. They think they know everything. They won't take criticism. Criticism is definitely one of the biggest ones I've had to learn to take, and it can be hard. But in the end of the day, if you're here to grow a community or you're wanting to be a better person, taking the criticism to heart, not to heart, is the way to go. So yeah, that's. I
think you can take it to heart. It's what you allow it to do to you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because if you don't let it in, then it's not going to have any effect on you.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, good point.
I've been on interviews and they're like, what is your best attribute? What's your best skill? And I've said I take constructive criticism surprisingly well.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
They're like, a loser like you, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andy, for calling me a loser.
You're welcome. Anytime, it comes from a place of love. Matt, can I selfishly ask for a lawn care tip?
Yeah, the easiest thing to do with lawns is just water, but mow. The more you can mow, the better. If you've got to be taking less than a third of the grass blade every time you mow. So the more you do it, the better. Otherwise, you'll start scalping it. So it's just water, mow. And the best supplements you can get are basically nitrogen. Nitrogen's one of the best for healthcare, and it leaves it really green.
All right, that's what I'm aiming for. We have dandelions. Do you have dandelions?
Yes.
Yeah, so we get a lot of dandelions.
Yeah.
Those are actually a very pretty weed.
They are, but my husband hates them. He literally the other day, he's standing at the door and he's like, with his hands like looking out the window, and he's like, I see 2 dandelions. And he literally ran out and like plucked the heads off the dandelion. I was like, that's my husband. I'm very proud of him. Our lawn is going to look great this year.
I was about to say, you've got snow there at the moment, though?
No, not where I am. No? It was very cold today, though.
Yep.
We got snow just north of us today. It's weird.
I'm done with
Have you ever seen snow, Matt?
No. I have, but I think I was 3. So, no, not really. We're in the middle of, as we were talking about earlier, we're open borders to New Zealand. So that's definitely the next place to go. Hit the slopes.
We're going to ship you a snowball, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yes. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll go great through customs. That'll be coming from Andy and not from me. Because God
Delta
knows.
Sports Pod.
Yeah. All right. So to wrap this up, we still don't have an official name for this.
No.
We've called it the ADHD round, the lightning round,
Adderall
round. Basically, I'm going to ask you a series of questions that have nothing to do with anything whatsoever in the universe of all things that are time. And you're going to give me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yep.
Okay, so clear your mind.
Done.
Question 1. Not you, Andy. That's going to give
it's too late. It's already
Question 1. What would be the worst buy one, get one sale of all time?
Buy one, get one?
Like get one for free.
Oh, get one for free.
I wasn't sure. I was like, is there a cult? So you buy something, you get something, you get another one for free. It's like the same thing. You buy one, you get one.
BOGO.
Oh man, I don't know. Something that doesn't work. An old unworking drill.
Okay. My first thought was colonoscopy.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Okay, there we go. That's a good one.
Then again, if you need one. I don't know why I said it. It's just coincidence. I said colonoscopy, and then this is the next question.
Oh no.
Where we go?
When you have to poop in public using a public toilet, do you hover? Do you build a nest using toilet paper, or do you just say fuck it and sit right down?
Just go for gold, mate. Go for gold.
Go for gold. Cheek to cheek.
I respect that.
Okay. Question number 3. What is your favorite smell?
Favorite smell?
Ooh. Fresh cut grass.
Oh, that's pretty good. That and rain. Ooh. Just after you've cut the lawn, you smell the lawn, and then it starts to rain. That's perfect.
Well, Matt's laying face down in the grass again.
Ooh, yeah.
My wife thinks I'm already crazy with the mowing. So.
Don't worry. So do we. Question 3. Cats or dogs? Now, I mean, if you had to choose, which one would you eat?
Eat.
Definitely cat, yeah.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah.
You've seen my cat.
So
my wife's cat.
I like dogs.
She's a heavy girl.
My
cat's a heavy one. Okay, last question. How many 7-year-olds do you think you could fight off before you became overwhelmed?
7-year-olds.
Does he get a weapon?
No weapon.
Ooh. I am a weapon.
Oh, well done.
That's what she said.
I reckon 4. I could probably go 3, but then you don't know where they're
3?
coming from.
All right. I would have expected like at least closer to 10.
I was feeling 11 for you, Matt.
Yeah, you got to figure. I really haven't put any thought into this, but the first few that come up, they're shin to knee high. That's just a boom kick to the face.
Are they coming out once?
That's not a 7-year-old. 7-year-olds are taller than that, Ev. Wait, actually, you're pretty tall. High. Yeah, I will give you belly button.
Okay, I can.
7-year-olds are like short humans.
Okay, but you know how much energy you save from not having to punch up to just punching down. Okay, you just catch them. You give them a good hit right here. You just planted grass seed.
Yeah.
All day.
I was giving you at least 11, Matt.
11.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At least.
I'm underestimating myself.
We have more faith in you than you have in
This
yourself,
is like a one-on-one situation, right? Like how they do like in movies and they like attack you one and then the next one comes up. They're not going to swarm you.
One comes in, then you're going to have, while this kid's coming at you, another one's going to be coming. I mean, we'll figure you're in a corner, right? So you can at least have this.
Okay.
Now it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were where I'm at, I'm saying you could take 8 or 9.
Okay, here's the plan, Matt. At your family party this afternoon, you're going to need to figure out how many 7-year-olds you can beat up. If you could do it in practice and film it for us.
I'll film it this afternoon. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Don't pull punches. It doesn't teach them anything.
We'll put it on the DSP one. It'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be good.
You just got to do like your arms swinging and get your legs kicking, and if they get in your way,
I mean, if you really think about it, if you just run like this
and windmill,
that's an easy 6.5 right there.
Yeah,
right. 6.5 children.
I don't know. Maybe there's a 3.5-year-old. So, because half is 7, it's Matt. So Matt, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come meet and sit down and talk about God knows what we talked about. For anyone who's listening, go check out Matt on Instagram and on YouTube at Addicted to Tools. There's anything else, any place else they can find you, Matt?
YouTube.
Just Addicting to Tools. Yeah, YouTube. I'm on pretty much everything. I'm even on LinkedIn. Nothing really happens over there, but
Andy's big on the LinkedIn.
I'm big on LinkedIn.
Big on LinkedIn.
I have the sort of podcast. Was it Talking Trade and Tools on iTunes and Spotify? Not too much happens there. It's just sort of any content that I can throw over. But that's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, check out Matt at Addicted to Tools on any of your social media outlets. Matt, tell your mom I said happy birthday.
Me too.
Just from me, though, not from Andy.
No.
She's not going to want to know from Andy.
Give her a hug from me and then punch her and say it was from Evan.
Yes. Matt, we have a special way of closing this out. Andy, do you want to kick us off?
No, I do not. I'm going to let you.
Yourself. Be
yourself. Be yourself.
Be yourself. And do sausage. Pop, pop, pop.
I hate that so much.